So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This is our latest in a series of Secrets of the Dam podcast to update all the Kirk followers what's going on. Now we're around quarter after 11 Atlantic time. Today we'll be doing a interview with the Holton Pioneer Times. Our good friend Jennifer over there, talking about the Secrets of the Damned, and that's a paper owned by the Bangor Daily News Group. So keep an eye out for that. River Valley Sun, we will be in their March edition. It's going to hit the newsstands probably this afternoon, so keep an eye on that. A little thank you to Teresa, Jim, and everybody else involved with the RVS. And as it stands right now, we've also approached different media, including our good friends at WAGM, the multiple network up in Prescott, which has been servicing Maine and New Brunswick in fine fashion over the years. That was the original U.S. cable channel on the Woodstock feed, so great relationship. Hopefully we can film something or get an on-site interview down the road. So, Jim, this morning, there's a couple of few things we want to cover. By the way, we're at the Florenceville Collectors Club event tomorrow at 10 o'clock at the Legion in Florenceville. If anyone says hi, we'll be passing out flyers of some of the stuff that's already been published. Jim, there's a couple of things you want to talk about this morning, but before we start, say hi to our great followers.
Morning, everybody. How's it going?
Okay. So Jim's going to talk about a little bit about the process of giving reviews for the book on our Audible and other sites. Jim, you had talked a little bit about that online. Maybe you could expand on that for our audio listeners.
Reviews are especially important to indie authors like me. One, of course, you know what they say, people are always persuaded when a great number of people say it's okay, so people seek approval. And that's one reason that reviews are important. And it's a good way to support me, to tell me how I'm doing and how Nora's doing. And it also improves our rankings in the audible book world. So I would very much enjoy to see all the people who have these novels or downloads, I guess, to give a review and be honest. You know, things you like, things you don't like. If you think it's awesome, then say it's awesome. If you think it sucks, well, say it sucks.
Now the process of this review, you can give a short number of sentences, but also as the star review. I don't know how many people go on imdb.com. You see the boxes allows you, if you're a member of the IMDb, to give a star rating. Now, because of the length of the audiobook, obviously it's a big, as we like to say in the dairy business, a big piece of talented cheese you have to get through. But the idea for any author, feedback's very important, either on the Secrets of the Dam Facebook, Jim's Facebook, his website, my Facebook site, this podcast. And you know, it's a cross-Canada effort, because we have people in BC that have been supporting the project since the start. We got obviously people out west, Ontario, are part of this. Maritimes have been great so far, and our media friends that are helping us get the word out. There's only been one occasion with the media we've contacted we've had bad results, and that's from the fact that the individual in question is still learning how to be a journalist, and he basically didn't see our project as important. But if it's important to the River Valley Sun, the Holton Pioneer Times, Brunswick News is 24 newspapers. You know, we want to share the story as best we can, different media. Not everybody's going to understand within the media, but for the ones that have, we thank you very much for, a continuous understanding of the process for fiction writers in New Brunswick. So, we talked a little bit about the Secrets of the Dam site, how people can access the book without cost. Jim, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. First of all, there was one person who couldn't said she couldn't access the site to download the book. Well, here's the thing: the book's $31. I can give that to whoever I want to, and we ran a contest, and several people won. What's going to happen is when you go on the site. This is if you're a winner. I'll explain if you're a winner first, then I'll explain if you just want to get the book. You're going to go on the site, and there's going to be a place where you can apply that code that I get supplied to you. The only thing that they're going to say is they're going to offer you a 30-day trial. That's if you just want the book and nothing else from audio. But Audible is great because there's going to be more books for me on Audible. But you have to pay for the download of their driver. All computers work with drivers. Drivers enable programs to run, and they have a special driver because they want to protect the content of their platform.
No plagiarism.
Now, folks who just want the book, I have provided links, but just go to Amazon or Audible, and when you go to Audible, just search for the Kirk. Secrets of the Damned, The Kirk by Jim Shaw. What's going to happen is it's going to come up. There'll be a picture of the cover. There's going to be, underneath the picture of the cover, there'll be a sample that you can click on and listen to Nora ply her trade, which is worth listening to. And then over on the right-hand side, there's going to be a free Audible, a 30-day offer. And you click on that, and that'll get you to, once you sign up to Audible, they will allow you to pick any book you want for free. And I would hope you'd pick mine. Pick mine.
But just remember, like any 30, is there any after 30 days do you automatically bill, or if you've
It's the exact same thing. It's like every other sharing platform now, like Netflix and stuff. Yeah, after the 30 days, you automatically start to be, unless you otherwise tell them.
So day 28, 29, please say I don't want to continue, because we don't want anybody billed incorrectly or figure, hey, it's not obviously a scam, but that's the method of the madness for these streaming sites. You have to tell them, including WWE, different stuff.
But I'd encourage them to stay on there, because I've looked at all the different stuff on there.
What's the fee per month, by the way, for Audible?
Ooh, I don't know, $14 maybe.
Well, if you feel it's worth it, like I said, with Audible now, I think there's magazines as well, different publications.
There's all kinds of stuff, but I'm not sure if there's magazines. But there's fiction and nonfiction. And in the nonfiction, there's a lot of how-tos and a lot of improve yourself, self-help books. But in the fiction part, there's every genre you can think of, and even authors that are fantastic, like Mr. King, my hero, and there's Benchley's, there's John Grisham's, there's any number of authors.
Nora Roberts for me, because Nora's book has put money in my good friend Derek Hamilton's acting pocket, because he did a movie with Heather Locklear, which I think is probably hitting the mother load now, because Heather Locklear, very popular. He's still getting residuals or like still getting recognition for that. But you have to remember, being any type of author, fiction and non-fiction, Canadian authors must stick together, because not only protecting the Canadian aesthetic, is the fact is we have to basically sink or swim together. We support any other Canadian author that needs our help. And if any Canadian author is listening to this, please network with us, give us a message, whatever. We'd like to be, long term, we'd like to network with many fellow Canadian authors. But you look at people like David Adams Richards from Membership, Senator Richards. He started off kind of as a fictional historical author, taking details from his Membership experience, and he's become worldwide. He only started off by being supported by other authors. I think Irving Layton and different people had reached out to him, and different New Brunswick, colleges and stuff. Now, Secrets of the Damned, again, if you like gothic fiction, this is for you. With the Supernatural fans, Riverdale, all these different shows, it's a thrill ride from start to finish.
Secrets of the Damned is better than Riverdale, although I like Riverdale.
Well, I mean, maybe when we have a big movie on the CW. See, the goal of this, again, to reiterate this, get a script development towards a pilot format or a movie format. So anybody out there...
I've got to interrupt you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Angie from Secrets of the Damned group emailed me, and this is kind of neat. She's from Woodstock originally, but like many people in Woodstock, she's moved away. Anyway, she said, I'm listening to the Kirk, and she said, it's making me homesick. And then she put, well, sort of.
Yeah.
So that was good. And then Kimberly, a woman who lives in Woodstock.
Kim P.
And she's also a member of Seekers of the Damned. She said that wowzers, I think, if I can remember.
I think it was wowzers, yes.
Wowzers, your words put me right there. This is an example of a review. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be in
2
depth.
lines, yeah. I think the book is great. Keep up the good work. Or I think people should read this. Like I said, we're not begging. That's not our job here, because I mean, we would make more money panning on the streets of Toronto. Any author in New Brunswick, there's a struggle every day for people to recognize it. And here's the stigma too that they have, and it goes back to certain people we dealt with last few weeks. People that look at people who are self-publishing that don't show them respect. That's not exactly what you should be doing. Anybody that creates something should be respected. Be you a pottery guy, painting. Like up North Shore, there's wood carvers, there's snow sculpture, all that. Everybody has a creativity. But fictional authors in New Brunswick are discriminated against because people say, well, if it's so big, how come, U.S. companies or Nimbus never pick you up? I mean, if you have start your own taxi service, are you criticized because you're not part of Uber or whatever? You got to understand it's all a creative process. And to be creative, you have to have people who support you to get the juices continue, because like Jim likes to say, to fix a car sometimes you have to have certain parts that you need from other dealers. Secrets of the Damn Group is all a bunch of people working together to say, hey, we're proud of Woodstock, we're proud of Jim, we're proud of authors in New Brunswick. Let's see where this can go. Stephen King started the late 60s, early 70s. Who would have thought? And this guy lives 120 miles away from Woodstock. I mean,
Part-time.
What's that? Well, part-time.
Yeah, since his accident, he's moved.
But I'm just saying,
warmer climate.
If Stephen King decides to give us a review, you know what that's going to do for us? It's going to put us through the roof. But the thing is, we want to say it doesn't matter if you're Stephen King or not a celebrity. We need your support, because we're doing this because to see where it can get us. You can't win the game unless
you're on the ice.
You're on the ice. And as we like to say in the Montreal Canadian genre, if you don't shoot, then don't go in.
Don't shoot, don't score.
And you know who told me that to my face? Ladies and gentlemen, Jacques Lemaire. The infamous shot in Game 7 against Chicago. If Jacques Lemaire could tell any writer out there, you got to give it a shot, because if you don't, you never know. It's better to fail by trying than not try at all. I think Yoda may have said that better. There's no
try.
There's only do. Or something like that. And it kind of, it's kind of been applied. I know a small green Muppet character shouldn't be psychologically running your mind as to try. You have to try. You think my 36 years as a journalist, I would have stuck in Gravel Hill and not came out and got my career? My God, I mean, when I tell people I come to community 75 people, it's like, are you nuts? How did that happen? Well, I said, I tried. There's naysayers all the time.
Well, I just want to mention, too, that I'm not by far the only author in Woodstock.
True.
I'm not there was a time I was the only author currently publishing in Woodstock, but that was like many, many moons ago.
Now we have tons of great presenters, as we say.
And you know what? There's no such thing really as a bad book. And I will say this: a good book, if no one knows about it, it won't find its audience. And every good book deserves to find its audience. I did the traditional thing, and that was wonderful. I had such a lousy experience at it. I wouldn't deter someone else from
Well, they held your book for years.
Seven years. And
which blows that self-published craziness we heard from a reporter earlier this week out of the water, but we'll talk about it later on.
Well, it was author friends of mine that told me, "What are you doing? Go indie. Yeah. Indie's the way to go. Indie, you have an indie author. You've got to realize a lot of times, even the title that you have for your novel can be changed and you have no say in.
Yeah, manipulate the vision, as you say.
There are things that can be changed in your story that you have no say in. Sometimes they're courteous to say, well, you can pick 6 different titles and we'll choose from there, but we're not accepting the one you have. Well, a lot of thought goes into a title for a novel anyway. Sometimes a title for the novel is what gets the book started in your head and you start writing it. So I was been victimized like that, but now I can set what I want to call it. The characters can act and say the things I want them to say. Some of them aren't politically correct. Those are the ones that get, they get their knuckles rapped by other characters in the book, because that's just, I like to write about real life things and how real life characters interact with one another. So to have the freedom of being an indie author is a wonderful thing as far as I'm concerned. I had stopped writing for 10 years. I just said to hell with it. If you guys are going to be that way and own my book and never pay me, then I'm not writing another thing for you. I had been on the hook for another Secrets of the Dam novel, but I refused to write it. I'm now writing it in dribs and drabs now, and that's the novel Dark Angels.
But the thing is, there was kind of karma when I came down here from the Tribune to be sports editor at the Bugle. Jim and I eventually renew our friendship, and it put it in Jim's mind. I'm not saying he did it because I came like some friggin' savior in the universe to save the Montreal Canadiens or Toronto Maple Leafs like John Tavares or Max Domi or whatever. But you got to understand this there. Like I said, Woodstock region alone, it's of two minds. There's a heavy Christian and there's a heavy Gothic feel to it. Because this is a schizophrenic community. Some people pretend to be nice, and some people here, from a dam perspective, they're two-faced. I've had ministers in the region told me, well, there might have been a satanic cult in the 1980s, but that's gone away. Don't think so. There's a lot of mystery around here. It's almost like I did a podcast on Dark Shadows, calling sports had a lot of mysteries, and sometimes with maritime towns, that's what happened. I don't think Secrets of the Dam could even be based on Battersea or Campbellton, because there's aesthetic down here being so close to the U.S. border with like the Anglophone aspect of basically being on your own for so many years. Some people consider Woodstock almost like an American community in Maine. I think of it just a community, So Jim, wrapping up, what else did you want to talk about? Any more? I think we've explained the indie process and everything else.
I want to give a shout out to my voice actress. She's right now on vacation in Los Angeles.
In La La Land.
And I want her to have a lot of fun and soak up as much sun as she can, because once we get back at her, woohoo!
And let's have a shout out to Nora's rat, where, you kid you not, she's got a new rat as a pet. And by the way,
she's an animal lover.
She's an animal lover, but she bought a new rat. So I don't think she's a New Jersey fan, because Florida fan. But by the way, we support pet rescue throughout. Dogs and cats that have been abandoned through SPCAs or whatever, done roaming. If you support Secrets of the Dam, please support the pets. I have 2 rescue cats in my family. Jim has a lot of animals. We're animal lovers. But then again, like I said, we really appreciate everybody's support. Again, Nora, all the people in Secrets of the Dam, members of my own family.
Oh, well, Nora's husband as well.
Mike, yeah. No, shout out to Mike, who's helping out with some of the recording process. Sort of like a double editor. We have Nora and Mike as well. So we're going to wrap this up. Jim, any last thoughts?
Spring's coming, so we've got that to look forward to. And
the bank's going away.
The snowbanks are finally leaving. You know what? I'm working on Dark Angels. I know that Secrets of the Dam is supposed to be a 4-book process, but I'm going to probably end it at the 3rd book. Not because for any real particular reason, it's just that there's other things that I'd rather write. But I'm not mailing in Dark Angels. It's going to be as riveting and compelling as the other 2.
And by the way, if we ever break big, the people that helped us at the start, all the good people, you're just going to be important to us as everybody else joining in. It's a team effort here, because in my journalism career, I've learned this, and I hope that's in due respect to all the journalists I work with. My papers, the weakest journalists made the paper better. Every journalist has talent, but the journalists I had were as strong as their weakest link, like a 2-year experienced reporter, 3 years just starting out. I worked with very strong team members through the years, very young reporters, and that's a team effort. This is a team effort. But anybody who wants to join the Secrets of the Dam team from a public relation or whatever standpoint, please let us know, because if there's a young journalist coming up, practice photos or video or whatever, please let us know. There was a journalism program here at NBCC Woodstock for a number of years. It would be a perfect fit for them to kind of do something on us. There's no longer anybody around. But anybody listening to this going to Holland College or journalism location, if you want to do an essay on us, video or otherwise, please let us know.
You got to remember too that I have made a pact with everyone who's involved in turning this into a movie. And of course, the ones who are in the future come on board. That there's 2 things that are non-negotiable. My main character has a Pontiac Fiero. That's non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
And the people who helped in the beginning
Got to be there at the end.
They're there at the end. They're either going to the cast and crew party for the movie, or they're going to get a walk-on role. That's simple. That's the best thank you I can give, and bear that in mind, folks, because I have a long memory.
And one last shout out to the 2,000 athletes in the North Shore I've covered since the 80s. You know who you are. If I can get you in, maybe there'll be a very big crowd scene. We get 2,000 of the Condors and Cyclones and
Oh, there
all
is
the lousy charlatans and all that.
in the first two novels. There are some pretty big scenes.
So
where
you never know. You might be getting a call calling in a favor.
a lot of people can get in. Yeah.
You know, and most of the people in the North Shore look like